You're watching Section 1 Girls Basketball on News 12 Varsity. Welcome to Ossining High School at the home of the Pride for a Tri-State Top 25 battle. Albertus Magnus travels on the road to take on the four-time defending New York State AA champs. Hello everyone, welcome with Kevin Devaney Jr. I'm David Resnick. There's a lot of hype for this matchup for what it can be in the future, but what it is right now, a matchup of the best two girls basketball teams in Section 1.
And two of the best teams in the Tri-State with Albertus Magnus and Ossining, two teams that have been ranked all season long in the Tri-State. You know, it's an interesting game. How much does winning today really matter to these two teams? Because no matter what happens today, they're going to have to win again, most likely at the county center in that Section 1 final.
As for Albertus Magnus, the Ladies Falcons here on the road, they're the underdog. It's very tough to win here at Ossining, and there's a 93-game Section 1 winning streak for Ossining on the line. Who's it got to be?
It's got to have to be Marae Durkin. And Marae Durkin, every big win that Albertus Magnus has had this year, Marae Durkin has been in the middle of it. She is so good on the offensive glass. She either puts the ball back up and in or taps it back out to keep the possession going. So many possessions for Albertus Magnus in a lot of these games. That's why they're one of the highest scoring teams in the section, because of how good Durkin is inside.
For Ossining, their top player, really no introduction needed. Andra Espinoza-Hunter back in Section 1 and lighting up scoreboards all over the Tri-State.
Yeah, Dave, she's struggling a little bit. Her point per game average dipped below 40 points per game because she hasn't been scoring at a crazy clip. I mean, Dave, I've never seen a girl consistently score 50 points like she had. Aubrey Griffin did a little bit. Of course, Sanaya Chong has been really good here. And Andra Espinoza-Hunter is going to follow Chong to UConn. And Espinoza-Hunter can score from really anywhere on the floor. A dangerous outside shooter. I think today it's going to be all about her getting to the basket and trying to score inside.
That Ossining 93-game Section 1 winning streak is on the line here at home as Albertus Magnus travels to Ossining to take on the Pride.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
It is a marquee matchup in Westchester as number 11 Ossining and number 15 Albertus Magnus battle in a Class AA showdown. Thomas Schnarr's our producer with Kevin Devaney Jr., David Resnick. We'll give you the coaches and starting lineups in just a moment as we are underway as the Lady Falcons in the maroon taking on Ossining in the white. Lizzie Benedetto misfires wide right, and here comes the transition game of Ossining. Big key for the Lady Falcons, get back in transition as Kelsey Quain misfires from three.
La Rochelle with the rebound, now fighting out for it. And we're going to see Albertus. We want to see if Albertus wants to push the tempo like they normally do or slow it down against this Ossining team. It's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse game here to start.
La Rochelle finds the cutter. Marae Durkin puts the Falcons on the board with a layup. Just underway at Ossining. Durkin after the loose ball. Major is open, misfires. She's been dealing with an illness, the extra day after the postponement from yesterday, helpful for her. Jada Strapoli driving and missing a layup through contact.
Very odd to see Ossining have this many poor possessions to start a game, and right there, backcourt violation. Marae Durkin was expecting La Rochelle to maybe be a step quicker, and La Rochelle gets called for the backcourt.
So when this matchup was set up over the summer, Albertus Magnus was in Class A. So this was supposed to be just a non-class, non-league matchup to get both teams ready for the playoffs. Espinoza-Hunter blocked. Maeve McNeil did not fall for the fake, and it's out of bounds to the Lady Falcons. So can Albertus Magnus, another key, handle the pressure from Ossining? Half-court steal. Up to Espinoza-Hunter. Strapoli launches an air ball 3.
And this is a big challenge for Kate Major. Now, Kate Major has been one of those players who's been considered a strong player in Section 1, and then this year her game has completely exploded. She's now a Division I caliber player, Northeastern school that has visited, watched her play a few times, a 5-second violation to be called against Albertus. And now she's got to prove that she can defend at the highest level, and she probably will never defend anybody at the high school level as good as Andra Espinoza-Hunter. So she's taken on this challenge and accepting it and having a strong start so far.
Espinoza-Hunter catch and shoot. It's short. The rebound out to Danielle La Rochelle, pushing on the break. And a blocking foul sends the junior to the line.
And La Rochelle is so good at, she's one of those girls who gets 7 rebounds a game, which for an undersized point guard, 5'5" point guard, to get that, it's pretty special. And she turns everything into a fast break. Every rebound she gets becomes a fast break on the other end, and she turns that one into a foul. We're about 2 minutes in here, and La Rochelle's free throw makes it 3-0 Albertus.
So 89-23 in the prior 5 seasons as Albertus Magnus has made 17 trips to the Section 1 Final Four. A foul against La Rochelle after the miss. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Lady Falcons. La Rochelle, part of the starting 5, along with leading scorer Kate Major, averaging 16 points per game. We'll sneak in the Ossining starting lineup when time allows.
Doesn't everybody at this point know who these Ossining players are? Ball bounces in and out.
Very possibly. Offensive rebound and putback for Kayla Harris, the 6'1 sophomore who earned second team News 12 varsity Hudson Valley All-Star honors a season ago.
Strapoli and La Rochelle like mirror images of each other at the point guard position for Ossining and Albertus.
Durkin driving away, puts it up off the back of the iron and the friendly bounce.
Something that she's added to her game, ability to shoot off the dribble like that and get into the lane and just, she sort of fired that ball up to the basket and it just gently fell through.
Step back 3, Espinoza-Hunter.
There's only so much Kate Major could do there. I mean, that's what UConn looks like. A UConn down star looks like, and just a step back 3-point shot.
65th 3 of the season for the senior that's averaging nearly 40 points per game. She ties it at 5 with 4:45 remaining in the first. Again, it's Durkin on the cut. Patiently waits for Harris to go by, but it's a travel. Espinoza-Hunter wants 3 more. It's short. Battle for the rebound. Albertus Magnus has it. La Rochelle wants to push. Perfect leading bounce pass to the rim, and Durkin has the layup.
And Durkin just led that break. I mean, she was leading it on the outside, and La Rochelle knew where she was the entire time. Perfect bounce pass for the basket.
Espinoza-Hunter working to get open against Major away from the ball. Allows Ishmael to drive, and lost it out of bounds. So let's take a look at the starting 5 for Ossining. Multi-year starters in Strapoli and Harris, and Espinoza-Hunter back in the program after playing her 7th and 8th grade season with the Pride. She started as a middle schooler. Up ahead, McNeil found the pass and scored +1.
And we've seen 3 baskets so far that will be credited to one player, but really deserve to be the basket of Danielle La Rochelle. I mean, another pretty feed from half court underneath the basket for the bucket and the foul.
Tanasia Mills for Albertus Magnus checking in at the last dead ball for Kate Major. The freshman will be a key ingredient in today's game. 3-point play completed, and a much different feel than Ossining's win last year at the Slam Dunk Tournament, 66-52. As Harris knocks down a deep 3. In that game, the Pride jumping out to a big lead.
I watched Pat Buckley's face when Kayla Harris knocked down that 3-point shot, and his thinking was, she can hit threes also? This sophomore, a special player. And we saw Mills in that last possession, although it didn't really come into play, she was defending Hunter.
Espinoza Hunter goes right around La Rochelle, but misses the layup. A block. Duncan wanted a call, but Harris in perfect position.
And Pat Buckley wanted a foul there, and Murray Durkin got up and thought maybe I didn't hear the whistle because he thought for sure there would have been a foul call there, and there wasn't one. It is a loud gym here, Dave. This is a girls' basketball atmosphere that you just don't see very often.
Supposed to be 4:15 on Tuesday. The snow delayed it by a day and made it part of a doubleheader with the boys program.
Put it into prime time.
Boys game went overtime, so even a later start and an even fuller gym.
Kenny Fritz knocking down a three-point shot for Ossining at the end of regulation in the final seconds to force overtime. And Austin came away with that victory, and the girls trying to sweep a doubleheader against Portchester and Albertus Magnus. That ball out of bounds, and Dan Rickey with the Dan Rickey face of disbelief and astonishment over a call that didn't go his way.
He's got a number of officials behind him as well, helping him out and airing his grievance. Magnus basketball, 3 minutes to go, first quarter. La Rochelle, a key facilitator already, driving against Rapoli. A bounce pass through the paint. What a find to McNeil.
Another assist for La Rochelle.
4-point lead for Albertus Magnus. Kate Major returning to the lineup and committing the foul.
And again, Tanasia Mills, a 5'5" freshman for Albertus Magnus, is defending Andra Espinoza Hunter.
Off the back of the iron and a friendly rim there for McFadden. La Rochelle breaking the press, jump stop, and good.
You were so expecting her to pass that ball off to somebody, and instead she took it herself.
Every opportunity, Pat Buckley looks like a third base coach waving the runner home. He wants his team to get back, and they have, as Tripoli sets up McFadden for two.
We're watching two of the best point guards in the section do their thing so far.
Mills, the freshman, to Durkin, nice fake. McFadden has been good off the bench for Ossining. A good scoring threat for Dan Rickey. Into Espinoza Hunter. Good positioning and the baseline finish.
I said it in the pregame with you, Dave, about Espinoza Hunter. Yeah, she can knock down three-point shots and she's a terrific shooter, but I think today that ball is going to be out of bounds. The full court pressure Ossining applies, forces a turnover. You know, you feel like if you're being defended by someone, you're 6 foot, and you're being defended by somebody 5'5", go to the basket. I mean, don't bother shooting over. Just go to the basket. And right there, Andra Espinoza Hunter did that.
The bucket for Espinoza Hunter, 5 first quarter points. Tying it up at 14, Espinoza Hunter. And a jump ball. Albertus Magnus going to throw a lot of different looks, in particular at Espinoza Hunter. Major back on her now. Espinoza Hunter to McFadden. After the loose ball, and it deflects to Harris for two. Good first quarter for Kayla Harris as Ossining takes its first lead. And Albertus Magnus, a backcourt turnover, gives it right back to Ossining. .120 left, first quarter, into McFadden. Goes reverse. Adriana McFadden, a stellar first quarter off the bench.
We have 32 points in this game. We're not even at 7 minutes in. 18-14.
Lizzie Benedetto to Durkin, driving in after her own miss. Durkin losing the ball. Benedetto has it for Albertus Magnus, and Pat Buckley using one of his 6 timeouts here in the first quarter.
And Murray Durkin is one of the more physical and you know, one of the more gifted athletes in Section 1 girls hoops, and there's been a lot of contact on her and they haven't called it. You can see her getting a little bit frustrated.
Ossining with a 93-game Section 1 winning streak dating back 7 seasons now, all the way to a loss to Briarcliff back on February 4th, 2011. Shadeen Samuels, now a freshman at Seton Hall, who was last year's Hudson Valley Player of the Year, never lost to a Section 1 opponent in her 5-year history.
Staggering and amazing. I mean, when you have the success that Ossining has had over these last, really 6-7 years, there are some long streaks. There are some amazing stats, some amazing numbers. And obviously, Sanaya Chong was the catalyst for the first half of this dynasty. And now we saw Jalea Knowles, Shadeen Samuels, Aubrey Griffin, who's obviously hurt now, and Andra Espinoza-Hunter carried on. And Kalei Harris is going to be the girl that carries it on after this year. She goes in and finishes it off. Gets the steal at half court, and the sophomore center takes it down 20-14.
So she hits a 3. She gets a steal and a layup in transition, all in the same quarter, and that's the freshman, Tanasia Mills. Back to a 4-point game. Quain back of the iron for 3. Weak side rebound. Harris takes it over Durkin. Good positioning by Benedetto to draw the foul. And if Ossining goes on to beat every Section 1 opponent this year, Andra Espinoza-Hunter will have never lost to a Section 1 opponent, but that streak separated by 3 years at Blair Academy. 7 seconds to go. It's thrown up by Tess Lorenz and in at the buzzer. Lorenz with a circus shot. It all counts the same, and a highly anticipated showdown between the two top teams in Section 1. It's a 2-point game.
I'll take three more of these, Dave. But 20-18.
Sign up for that.
What a quarter! I mean, this is one of those things though. You take a step back and you say, okay, can Albertus Magnus sustain this for 3 more quarters? We have, when we built this game up, we talked about the depth that Albertus Magnus has, and it may be their advantage here. But we're also seeing Kayla Harris for Ossining do a lot more than just stay in the post and get offensive rebounds and score in the low block. And we're seeing her, we saw her knock down a 3-point shot. We saw her create at the top of the pressure. So that could be a difference. That's something that Albertus Magnus did not account for coming into today.
20-18, 1 quarter in the books. Ossining with a slim lead in this tri-state battle.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Welcome back to Ossining High School with Kevin Devaney Jr., David Resnick, Thomas Schnars is our producer, and the head coach for Ossining is Dan Rickey. 26th season coaching his alma mater, 444 wins, 7 section titles as a grad of 1983, and recently celebrating a birthday earlier this week. The game was really rescheduled twice. It was supposed to be Monday, but that was Dan's birthday, and then the snow, and now here we are on Wednesday. Durkin dribbles to an open spot and ties it at 20.
Wait, did they cancel the game because it was his birthday? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I heard. Espinoza-Hunter in and out on 3. Contact underneath. Harris battling there with Durkin. Harris a bit shaken up, but seems to be okay as she ran towards the bench and said something to an assistant, but remains out there. Just underway in the second quarter, tied at 20. This is Danielle La Rochelle, matched up with Jada Strapoli. Baseline drive defended well. Espinoza-Hunter with the rebound and the handle to bring it up into the front court and draw the foul. Every rebound contested. La Rochelle is able to break the pressure down the floor. Lorenz in and out on a three. And Angela Torresella is in for Ossining for the first time. McFadden off the bench, scoops it to Espinoza Hunter, and it's stolen. La Rochelle goes behind the back, working with Durkin, and she travels.
She's so disruptive, that Danielle La Rochelle. Just, I mean, right there, she's kind of out of her position. She's in the low post right there, forcing turnovers on the other end, and obviously Albertus Magnus turned it over on its end, so 6:37 to go in this first half. We're still tied at 20.
Liberal substitution for Pat Buckley and Albertus Magnus. Rotation is 8 deep. Espinoza Hunter off the dribble, continues to struggle. Maeve McNeil takes it on the run. Allison Conti, no. McNeil after the offensive rebound, and a 2-point lead for the Lady Falcons here in the second quarter. Harris chucks up a three, no. One and done as Mills brings it up the floor with speed. Mills, the freshman, settling in quite nicely as she draws the foul.
She has never, I've watched Albertus Magnus play 3 times. She has never looked uncomfortable or nervous or out of place as a freshman playing on a varsity team of this level.
McFadden out, Alyssa Aurora is in for the Pride. At 12-4 on the season, they thought they would have Arbery Griffin, and so they're playing a bit of a national schedule, and their 4 losses, all quality. Locally losing to Baldwin in the slam dunk, and there's a look at Aubrey, a major Division I recruit, already with an offer from Louisville, and thoughts that UConn is interested in as well.
I just got a text message from the Stepanak boys basketball coach. Her brother Alan is a player at Stepanak, a junior, and he has been really closely looked at by Fordham. Fordham was in for the third time in 2 weeks to see him.
Conti, baseline, Harris, and a foul. 3-point lead for the Falcons and a chance to add to it. So Allison Conti, a 3-year varsity player, key piece off the bench, is at the free throw line. Lady Falcons building a schedule as well, very worthy of one of the area's best. Only loss of the season came against a team from Rochester, Cardinal O'Hara, as they went up to Central New York and played in a tournament at Jamesville DeWitt.
Many people talk about this Albertus Magnus team and where they would be in the landscape of Class A. You see Kayla Harris going to put the miss back in, back to a 2-point deficit for Ossining. But Albertus Magnus, many people say that they would have been a clear favorite or among the top favorites to win a Class A state championship with Jamesville DeWitt.
McNeil, offensive foul. Aurora was there to get knocked over. That's her specialty, the defensive end. Espinoza Hunter gets right by Major, and then an offensive foul taken by La Rochelle. Maybe one she didn't want to take.
That's about as good as pain could feel as La Rochelle got run over by Andra Espinoza Hunter. They both hit the deck. The foul going to go the other way. Albertus Magnus leading 24-22.
Timeout Ossining as Pat Buckley is addressing his team during a 30-second timeout. He too coaching his alma mater, now in his 7th season, graduating from Albertus Magnus 1993. Won a section title a couple of years ago as part of a 24-1 season where they went undefeated through the Section 1 championship, in which they beat their nemesis at the time, Peekskill. It's a program that has a long history of success, and he has done nothing short of continue the excellence. Two-point lead for the Lady Falcons coming out of the Ossining timeout. 4:45 to go, first half. 24-22, and Conti gets called for the charge. Conti into the passing lane to knock him down.
Conti's so active. Conti really on this Alberta's team makes the most of her minutes.
Espinoza Hunter watched by Major, who seems to be struggling a bit today as she's getting over an illness. Durkin switches over into Harris driving. High layup off the mark, but a foul.
Espinoza Hunter recognized there's a lot of people guarding me on this play. Somebody's got to be open. And she finds Harris, who gets inside for the foul.
Kayla Harris, the 6'1 sophomore. Perhaps a bit forgotten in the front court with the return of Espinoza Hunter with the high-profile injury of Griffin. And here's Harris, who herself is a multi-year varsity player, multi-year starter, and a 15-10 person every game.
Very underappreciated player, Kayla Harris, and we've seen an array of skills out of her.
McNeil scoops it up. Major from deep off the iron. Had the game winner against Saddle River Day to pick up a Tri-State top 25 win at home. La Rochelle the steal. Gets around Espinoza Hunter. Low bounce pass for Durkin and the finish.
5 assists already for Danielle La Rochelle, and they've all looked like that. They've all looked pretty.
McFadden rebounded by Durkin. 2-on-1. Conti up ahead. McNeil runs the floor. Lefty layup. 28-23, Lady Falcons.
And Dan Ricky's upset because he feels that there's too much contact on one end, and then his team is not getting back defensively on the other, and it's a combination that now leads to a 28-23 Alberta's lead, and they have all the momentum here, Dave.
For Ossining, again, a 93-game Section 1 winning streak. Now over, or nearly 6 years old, just 3 days shy of a 6-year run. Defending Federation champs as they won their 6th straight Section 1 title, going on to win their 4th straight state championship. And these types of pictures, Kevin, Section 1 is used to seeing them at Mount Vernon for the boys. And now the Ossining girls making a habit of putting up banners in the gym after putting gold balls in the trophy case.
Where does the next one go? I'm looking around the gym here. There's some space on this side, but 4 in a row, 4 state titles in a row. And Dan Ricky, I'll say, you know, in those 4 pictures, he doesn't look like he's aged much. You know? He hasn't had to stress all that much with these teams that he's had, this talent. And it's funny because this is 4 years ago, and who's right behind him is number 2 as an 8th grader, is Andra Espinoza Hunter.
She was a 8th grader when Sanaya Chong was a senior, and Ossining won that state title. Really interesting story for Andra Espinoza Hunter. La Rochelle, the steal, and she's tripped down. Strapoli there to help her up after committing the foul.
That was, I love Jenny Strapoli, that's the way she is. And she's just like the nicest girl in America, and she just, accidental hit, and she was the first trying to help La Rochelle up.
Major, can she get going? Still short. Durkin on the offensive glass. And the Lady Falcons take a 7-point first half lead.
And that rebound kind of fell into her stomach.
McFadden drives, comes up short. Espinoza Hunter taken down as she got tangled on the rebound with Durkin.
I feel like we're not seeing Ossining. We're just seeing Ossining rush a little bit too much offensively in the half court. Now down by 7.
La Rochelle baseline. Leans in, no. Good help defense by McFadden to alter the shot. Strapoli running, driving against Durkin, and a foul.
Savvy play there by the sophomore point guard to recognize that Durkin was kind of go on her heels and initiate a little bit of contact, gets the foul. So it's the second foul on Marie Durkin, 2:38 to go in the first half.
30-23, Lady Falcons with the lead. Ossining with losses this year to Baldwin, the Mary Lewis Academy, a pair of top 10 teams in the Tri-State, in addition to some teams from outside of the area in which they scheduled expecting to have 2 high Division I recruits on the floor. 1 of 2 for Strapoli.
Alberta's working the ball so calmly on the perimeter to try to get it inside.
Just shifting her feet was Lorenz as Espinoza Hunter just played straight up. Harris is open. Good rebound by Lizzie Benedetto. Good positioning inside. 5th foul against Ossining. They are over the limit. The Lady Falcons to shoot 2.
There's got to be a segment of the population that just said, he just made a mistake. He said they're over the limit at 5 fouls. And why are they shooting 2? And obviously this is a rule that's come in to girls basketball last year. 5 fouls in a quarter, no more 1-and-1s. You should go right to 2 free throws. And they reset after each quarter as the free throw misses.
Albertus Magnus, to their credit, has taken the energy, the hustle, the intensity out of Ossining in this first half. They're not playing at the tempo, both offensively and defensively, that they want to play at.
Andre's having a hard time getting away from Tanasia Mills. Trying to get her up in the low post.
A triple team comes. Espinoza Hunter can't hit. Harris the offensive rebound, and she banks it in.
Ossining has really burned Albertus in the offensive glass.
Right back the other way. A 3 from the corner is good. Lizzie Benedetto knocks it down.
It seems like the offense is coming from all over for Albertus, as Mills is going to get called for a foul. It's funny, the officials have had a hard time with these Albertus jerseys because you see the AM on the front, and most of them have their jersey tucked in, so the number is tucked in also on the front.
I've noticed that.
Very sly.
Espinoza Hunter, signed, sealed, and will be delivered to UConn in the fall. After 3 years away, her family reached out to Dan Rickey in July, beginning the exploration process of rejoining this Ossining team. Her mother lived in Ossining the entire time. It wasn't like she left and came back. Blair Academy, a boarding school. The steal for Strapoli. Inside Espinoza Hunter. Misses the layup.
Just trying to force it too much to Espinoza Hunter at this point.
Major, open, and connects on a long 2.
Foot was on the line. Both feet were on the line there. But just a transition game for Albertus.
Espinoza Hunter, baseline, weaving between traffic. Ball is knocked free. A battle for the loose ball and a jump ball, with a possession arrow favoring the Pride. Harris sets the screen for Espinoza Hunter. Major in the air as Espinoza Hunter tries a 3. McFadden on the offensive glass. Espinoza Hunter leans in and draws the contact for the free throws.
It's been a rough second half of this second quarter for Ossining. Just feel like all the little weaknesses this team has, Albertus has been able to exploit.
So part of the reason,
and they've hit shots, of course. It helps as well. Hit a couple threes, transition baskets. That helps. And not helping is Espinoza Hunter at the free throw line.
So part of the reason for Espinoza Hunter's return, both her mom and her brother graduated Ossining, felt that she wanted to as well. And so a tweet returned Section 1's best player to the area to play ball. What a pass on the bounce to Lorenz. It's a 10-point lead for the Lady Falcons. Mismatch for Harris. Now McNeil comes over, and Harris still connects over her.
Nice one-hander, just right over the defender. So 24 seconds left in the half and an 8-point Albertus lead. They were able to get into double digits into the break.
McNeil finds it. A three off the iron for Conti. And then a foul. 10.5 seconds left. That should put Ossining on the line for two, and it does. So you have a 10-point game, Kevin. Final 30 seconds or so, and we'll see where we are in 10.5 seconds as the Pride get a bucket, and now Harris shooting two. One of two for Harris, replaced by Aurora in the lineup. 7 seconds left, plenty of time for the Lady Falcons, but first they have to break this pressure. Thrown away by both teams.
And that was one of those opportunities for Ossining. You're down 7, you get a steal, you get a chance to get a basket here, make it a 5-point game into the half, but instead squandered. And it's kind of been the story of the first half for Ossining. A lot of opportunities squandered, and a foul going to be called as Jada Strapoli just sort of grabbed Danielle La Rochelle. She curled around and was like at the basketball going towards the basket with numbers.
And part of the success coming into the game, Pat Buckley thought, whoever Espinoza Hunter was guarding, that offensive player would run to the other side of the floor. They didn't want Espinoza Hunter anywhere near the top of the press.
Might as well run to the cafeteria if you want to get her out of the play.
I see you got your money ready.
I do, for the 50-50 raffle. I see them walking around. I have a gut feeling, you know.
This is your day again, huh?
This is my day. I've had a lot of days.
Your success rate is off the charts.
I would have liked that one at Albertus the other night for the Matt McGinnis game. $1,200.
That's a nice golfing vacation right there.
That would be, or Disney, whatever you want to look at it.
Play golf at Disney. Nice. 9-point game, seconds left. Espinoza Hunter driving, too strong. Rebound collected by Albertus Magnus. And what a 16 minutes for the Lady Falcons here on the road. 40-31. A halftime lead over Ossining.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
40-31, the halftime lead for Albertus Magnus as we welcome you back to Ossining High School, where the Pride is on a 21-game home winning streak, but trailing at the break by 9 as we're underway in the third quarter with Kevin Devady Jr., David Resnick, Thomas Schnars, our producer. And we knew Albertus Magnus was good. And we knew, as Benedetto hits off glass, that Ossining had a different feel than the previous couple of years, as La Rochelle has it without numbers. She'll stop at the three-point line. Fire no good. Quain with the weak side rebound up to Espinoza Hunter, who then dribbled it off her knee because of a overtime win on the road against Ursuline, because of a loss against Baldwin. Both sides will admit it. The invincibility of the last 4 years wasn't there.
That's the word you would use. And they're not quite where they were these last 4 years, where it was almost like a foregone conclusion. It was like, how much are they going to win the section championship by? Not are they going to win, but how much is the final game going to be by? And we saw some wide margins, and we're seeing this margin quickly closed here today by Albertus Magnus in a game day that's funny. It may never have ever been scheduled if Albertus Magnus was moved up to Class AA earlier by Section 1. The game was scheduled by Coach Pat Buckley and Dan Rick got together and they said, let's play each other, be fun, and it'll help us, Albertus Magnus, get ready for the postseason. What they thought was going to be the Class A postseason. Then over the summer, Section 1 decides, they get together and they have their meetings. Every 2 years they address where each private school will be for the upcoming season, and they decided girls basketball at Albertus Magnus belongs in Class AA. Like many Class A coaches were very thrilled about that. And now you have all the private schools in Section 1 girls hoops in AA, Lourdes, and the other being escaping me. Ursuline. Yeah, of course. Just couldn't think of it for a second. As the free throw fell, 9-point lead for Albertus.
Not to say, of course, that Ossining can't come back and win big, but it's definitely something of note at halftime to see the separation as La Rochelle nearly lost it on the sideline.
And Dave, you know, the same approach could be taken for Ossining as we built it for Albertus Magnus. It's, yeah, if you win today, that's great, but you got to do it again. And for Ossining, it's you could just say, hey, today didn't really mean anything. And I'm sure Dan Rickey may be holding some cards in, some things he may not be doing. And I joked with both coaches before the game. I said, is this going to be like a football game where you guys just run your basic offenses and no one runs a set, no one presses, no one does anything? As Dan Rickey's coming all the way across the court here. This is as far as I've ever seen a coach out on the floor. I'd get away with it. Kelsey Valek, the assistant coach, former player at Ossining. Now he's going to the other ref. There are plenty of coaches, I'm sure, watching this, including Coach Devaney at home. He's probably saying, what is going on here?
Can't help but laugh, really.
When you're a 4-time state champion and you own your own gym. And you know what that means? Dave, I will say this. If a referee allows that, that means to me that there was some doubt in their mind over the call or the non-call in this situation.
Now you're playing psychologist.
I have I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I play psychologist all day. I play reverse psychologist.
Thanks for making some time to us.
I try for today. Sometimes I reverse the reverse psychology.
It's a double negative, isn't it? Well, Ossining called timeout, and Lorenz goes right back to work for Albertus Magnus. Up 11, the Lady Falcons.
Their largest lead. And now it's going to be creeping into the brains of Ossining. A turnaround spin move there by Jada Strapoli.
What's going to be the spark for the Pride, do you think?
That could have been it. I think it's going to have to be an Andra Espinoza Hunter three-pointer. I said that they're going to win this game by her getting into the paint. I think when you're down now by 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, you got to start making some outside shots. You're going to make up ground quickly. And, you know, I do think we're going to see a little bit more pressure, full-court pressure applied here for Ossining and denying the ball to La Rochelle.
Espinoza Hunter, short on a 3. La Rochelle omnipresent, swooping in for the rebound.
The hustle of La Rochelle, the smarts of La Rochelle, the playmaking ability of La Rochelle. We've seen it on full display here in 2.5 quarters. Foul inside, away from the ball, going to be called against Helen Ishmael.
McNeil looking for positioning. What are they, the Magnus Mafia? Is that their latest
They traveled
name?
over the bridge. I like that.
That's impressive. You're more into the fan support names than I am, so I got to...
Magnus Mafia, I believe, is the name. I'm not a huge fan of the name.
Agreed. Here comes Harris, pivots, up with the left. It rolls out. Kick out for an open three. Good! Tess Lorenz with 5 points in the quarter. It's a 12-point swell in Albertus Magnus's favor. Espinoza Hunter has been cold.
She just can't hit anything.
She's the type of prolific scorer as La Rochelle fakes and hits. That can get the Pride right back into it, but it's a 14-point edge.
Absolutely stunning, and I'm sure Pat Buckley's wondering, well, what's going on here? How are we up by this margin?
Ishmael in the post. Soft roll. La Rochelle driving. Beautiful feed. McNeil was wide open. Nobody stopped the ball. Espinoza Hunter double teamed on the block. McNeil with a clean rejection. But Stropoli steals it away and is going to the line.
We see Ossining just consistently overwhelm teams with just turning defense so quickly into offense. And that has just not happened today. And, give credit to the ball handlers, especially La Rochelle for Albertus Magnus. Lizzie Benedetto just hitting some big outside shots. But also, Marae Durkin and Maeve McNeil, one thing Austin does so well is they defend the rebounder. And they force so many turnovers because of post players that can't dribble the ball away from that defense or pass the ball away. And we're seeing them just effortlessly break it today, and that's something that they've totally taken away out of Austin.
Outside of Mills, the freshman who just checked in, the other 7 players, at least 3 years of varsity experience for the Lady Falcons. To speak to your point, they were not rattled early when some teams come into this building are. Harris has it redirected to her, and she puts it in.
And this is the defense. This is just seems like the court shrinks when Ossining is hustling defensively like this, covering both sides of the floor. And you look at this Albertus roster: Marae Durkin, junior; Danielle La Rochelle, Durkin; Tanasia Mills, obviously a freshman; Kate Major, junior; Allison Conti is also a junior. And they have a very strong junior varsity program as well.
Into McFadden, driving around McNeil. Touch foul. And that's a call against the 6'3" McNeil. Different for Ossining this year is Dan Rickey saying the overall athleticism isn't quite there. The number of opportunities that they get in transition off of steals, the easy layups, they would pile up 10, 12, 14 points a game just through their hustle and athleticism, and that's not the quite type of team they have this year.
No, and you can never take for granted having what Aubrey Griffin brought to this team last year.
No one picks up La Rochelle. Misses the layup with a 10-point lead.
Underhand layup, she had time.
Espinoza Hunter against Mills. La Rochelle hustling down the floor. And a travel against La Rochelle. On the touch by Ossining, it would have been Lady Falcons' ball, but La Rochelle wanted to keep it alive.
La Rochelle came from, like a defender 5 yards behind the receiver, dove head first, got that basketball, and gets called for a travel. That's as tough as a travel call as we've ever seen.
Step back, Stropoli off the side of the iron. Mills looking to run without numbers. Mills straight to the hoop, no. Offensive rebound and the putback. Conti was there.
Stropoli forced a bad layup shot there, and they can't get the rebound. Ossining as the ball is going to go out of bounds off of Ossining.
Full court pressure, Ossining. Kate Major lost her footing, but it bounces right to Lorenz. A break for Albertus Magnus as McFadden reaches around. (53-41), 3:04 remaining in the third. Lady Falcons with the lead and the ball. Thrown over McNeil's head. She runs after it. Conti, baseline, flips it up and in.
It's coming from all over, Dave. This is a great team basketball performance for Albertus Magnus.
Strapoli forcing it, runs into a crowd. Strapoli fires, no. McNeil has the rebound. Mills driving straight in, no. Conti throws it inside to Mills. McNeil, no. After her own miss and the foul. Albertus Magnus is getting every loose ball.
Every loose ball, every offensive rebound, every 50-50 opportunity, it's going to the team in red.
McNeil with a couple of opportunities, point blank. Did not hit. A player that was a JV call-up as a freshman for the playoffs. Her progress stalled early in her varsity career, but she has come on as of late. Only became a starter this season, and what a superb effort she's had tonight against the front line of Ishmael and Harris. 1 of 2. 15-point Lady Falcons lead. McFadden, nice drive. But Ossining has not been able to get stops.
To give up 56 points in this short amount of time, 2 minutes to go in this third quarter, it's very unlike Ossining.
McNeil driving.
Against Section 1 teams, that is.
Out to Major. It's short. Long rebound, 2-on-1. Espinoza Hunter, lefty lay-in.
Back to an 11-point deficit. Got to make their run here, Ossining, before this fourth quarter.
1:40 to go, 56-45. Albertus Magnus has the lead. Mills draws the blocking foul against Harris. And her contributions are bigger than just her stat line. Another ball handler for this Lady Falcons offense, allowing La Rochelle to sub in and out, also play off the ball at times. First free throw is perfect. Lady Falcons using their 8-man rotation. Mills makes both. 13-point game, 1:34 remaining in the third. And the way that the Lady Falcons have built the lead, Kevin, there's nothing fluky about it. There's nothing.
No, it's been a lot of hustle. It's been a lot of aggressiveness on the offensive glass. It seems like they haven't had many possessions where they come up scoreless. They've hit free throws, they've hit open shots from the outside, open three-point shots, and they've done it with balance.
Into Espinoza Hunter, attacks the rim, and a foul.
And Nate McNeil's like, I didn't touch her, and we have the video to prove it.
Espinoza Hunter off to UConn. Lady Huskies with a 95-game win streak. Just 2 games better than the Section 1 winning streak that the Pride currently on. La Rochelle turns it over. Harris driving in and scores.
This is the spurt that they needed. But Conti's open lane to the basket cut off.
She stops and hits. Confident stroke. And a timeout taken by Pat Buckley. 12-point lead, 1:11 to go. Stabilize things here and don't allow the final 71 seconds to go in Ossinings's favor so that the lead you worked so hard to build up evaporates.
And you see just the body language of even Coach Dan Ricky on the bench just kind of throws his hands up like, man, they don't miss. They haven't missed a shot, it seems, all night.
Ossining with 21 straight home wins. Ironically, Kevin, you and I were here at the last home loss, December 17th, 2014, and another Tri-State Top 25 type showdown in a loss to Malloy. Ossining at number 11 in the Tri-State, Albertus Magnus number 15. The top two teams from the Hudson Valley battling in this non-league contest in what could be and what will most likely be a preview of a playoff matchup at the County Center.
It seems like all signs are pointing that way, Dave. I mean, just, all credit to what Ursuline has done this year, and Lourdes is talented, and Ketchum's on a nice winning streak. 16 in a row for RC Ketchum. Fox Lane is going to be in the mix as well to make the County Center. But these two teams look a little bit too far superior. It's blocked from behind there by Jada Strapoli. It looked like Danny La Rochelle was going in there for an easy layup. Just under a minute to go in this third quarter.
Both these teams with victories over Lourdes. Ossining beat Ursuline. Major thought she was fouled, but she runs back on defense to get the loose ball, or intercept the pass, I should say. Give and go, Conti in tight. Conti got her own miss. So the two leading scorers in this game, Kate Major for Albertus Magnus, Andra Espinoza Hunter for Ossining. Offensively, they've been pretty much non-factors, but they can become X-factors in the fourth. What a job by Allison Conti, the 3-year veteran off the bench, making it a 14-point game. Strapoli catch and shoot. Harris the rebound. Up ahead to Conti, taking on Strapoli. Spin cycle, but a short layup. And what about the confidence of Allison Conti?
You know why they're confident, Dave? Because it's 62-48 late in the third quarter on the road at Ossining. Why not go for a little spin move? And Strapoli gets a steal.
Got the deflection on the inbounds pass. Shot clock is off. Still looking to attack. Strapoli got slashed on the arm. She's shooting 2. As Albertus Magnus is over the limit, and the Pride shooting the bonus free throws. Perfect trip for Jada Strapoli. 13 seconds left. La Rochelle bounces it low. Ossining ball.
Important possession here. A 12-point deficit, 8.5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ossining could get some serious momentum going into this fourth. It's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Quain, catch and shoot. Got it! Kelsey Quain with a big 3 for the Pride as it becomes a 5-point run at the end of the quarter to make it just a 9-point game.
You should never say you need a basket in the final possession of a third quarter, but Ossining really needed that mentally. Going to go into the fourth quarter only trailing by 9 points against an Albertus Magnus team for the first time all night, Dave. they look like they're about to break.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Back for the fourth quarter. Ossining High School, Pride trailing 62-53. Thomas Schnarr's our producer with Kevin Devaney Jr., David Resnick. A matchup of the best two teams in Section 1. Kick out, Strapoli. Off the iron, no. Big rebound for Durkin. She leads Benedetto up the floor for the transition two.
It seems like Alberta scores early in these quarters. All three, so the last three quarters, they've scored early.
Strapoli spinning and a foul.
They've set a good tone so far. So double-digit deficit, Dave, you feel, even when you're Austin, even when you're the four-time defending state champions, it feels like every possession is so important, and every free throw feels so important. They missed some free throws earlier in this game, and they really need Strapoli to come through with these. She makes 1 out of 2, and now fighting for the rebound. Going to be a foul called underneath the Austin basket, and that's a tough call. I think it's going to go with Adriana McFadden, and it's going to be her 5th.
So McFadden is out. She's provided some really good minutes off the bench for the Pride. Ossining will drop back as Helen Ishmael checks in. Can Albertus Magnus and their depth continue to wear down Ossining, who is now without one of their key contributors in Adriana McFadden? Inside Durkin, and an offensive foul. Durkin called for creating space.
4th foul against Murray Durkin. Her not being on the floor for the second half of that third quarter was a difference. Ossining didn't get to cut too much into the deficit. They're down 14, only down 10 now. But you just felt her presence was lacking, so they really can't lose her in these final minutes.
La Rochelle has been a pressure buster for Albertus Magnus. And then in the half court, she's orchestrated things beautifully. Durkin with inside position. Just throws it up, no. McNeil is there for a follow. And what should be, in theory, Ossining's advantage, Albertus Magnus has done a really strong job rebounding. Ten-point game with McNeil going back to the line. Ossining in bracketology, in which feels like a full-time job.
It is. I'm doing it during this game.
Albertus Magnus, number 2, Ursuline and Lourdes, so Ossining plus 3 private schools. Ketchum, Fox Lane, North Rockland, Yorktown, rounding out the top 8. And Ossining has victories over Fox Lane, North Rockland, and Yorktown. Ishmael,
Good
blocked
defense
by
by
McNeil.
Great job by McNeil again. It looks like she got a second block. And that's rough. Almost the identical play.
Fourth foul against McNeil. 4 against Durkin. 66-54, 6:22 to go. Durkin is out. Tess Lorenz is in. So giving up some considerable height, nearly 7 inches as listed. One of two, 11-point game. La Rochelle with poise and speed across the timeline.
I think poise is the word. I mean, just from the opening tip here tonight. And, you know, Dan Ricky said to Pat Buckley in the pregame, I was standing there, and he said, you know, this is a great atmosphere, and you don't see this very often. And Albertus does get this very often at their home gym for their girls' games. Backcourt going to be called. And they're going to say that Albertus called timeout before the backcourt violation.
Well, we are getting a little bit of everything.
You're getting a lot of everything here.
Thrown to the basket. Lorenz pushed by Ishmael. Nice play design off the timeout. Nice ATO. Free throw good for Lorenz. The lineup for Albertus Magnus does not include Durkin and McNeil. And so at this point, Pat Buckley trying to steal some minutes without his 2 front court players in the game, both with 4 fouls. 68-55, Albertus Magnus leads, and they really have throughout. Good bounce for Harris. It's a 9-point lead for the Lady Falcons at halftime. They held a double-figure lead throughout the third. And they're up by 11 here. Mills draws the blocking foul, and La Rochelle away from the play, writhing in pain.
This is the player that Albertus cannot lose. And they're going to tend to Danny La Rochelle, who's had such a brilliant performance, distributing the ball, handling the pressure, really never blinked against this Ossining press. Coach Pat Buckley's going to carry her off. So Durkin's on the bench with fouls. And now La Rochelle on the bench with an ankle injury. Let's hope she's okay. And maybe she slipped, maybe she fell, but the Austin girls, you saw them huddle up, the Austin girls, and Andra Espinoza-Hunter said, what happened? And Kelsey Quinn just kind of shrugged her shoulders, like, I don't know.
These subtleties escape me, so that's...
I can read lips.
Glad you're around. An ankle or a knee for La Rochelle. 5:36 to go. Durkin re-enters on the floor with 4 fouls. Can Albertus Magnus hold on without their starting point guard?
And Ossing sees La Rochelle on the bench, and they're going to pounce. They're going to try and apply the pressure. 12 points in 5.5 minutes is not going to be easy. Tanisha Mills most likely will just slide over to the point guard position.
Espinoza-Hunter driving on Major. Count it, +1.
She can't get 3-pointers to fall, so she's going to try and do the 3-point play the old way, and she drives in there and barely even, like a breeze of wind, slowed her pace as she goes in there and gets fouled for the basket.
McDonald's All-American nominee. It's interesting, we've really seen her work hard off ball around screens looking for the open shot. We haven't seen her really take over handling of the ball and looking to create off the dribble. Pat Buckley wanted to get a sub in, but Espinoza Hunter already had the ball. And now after the main free throw, it's a 9-point game with 5:18 to go.
Dave, they've been here before. They've been down by 9. They can't get inside of 9.
Bodies tumbling everywhere after the ball was not properly handled. 9-point Albertus Magnus lead. You can see in the background Danielle La Rochelle with her left sneaker off.
Once the sneaker comes off, Dave, that's not a good sign with an ankle injury.
And leg extended as well. Conti, no. Espinoza Hunter, 1-on-3. Pull up 2, short. Harris offensive rebound and the foul. Pat Buckley trying to coach as well as console one of his top players. Ossining will shoot free throws the rest of the way. This was a shooting foul, so Harris was going to the line regardless. You thought maybe at the end of the third quarter the Falcons were ready to break. Now it's an 8-point game with 5 minutes left, and despite everything that has happened up till this point, the Pride very much in striking distance, down 7. 5 minutes even. Timeout, Albertus Magnus.
And La Rochelle's sock is off on the sideline, so now this is really going to all be about can Albertus Magnus hold it off here?
Corner 3, yes! Allison Conti.
If they're able to hold on, that might be the biggest shot of the game. We're still 4:47 to go, but that was huge in terms of just kind of picking the spirits back up and allowing Albertus Magnus to set up defensively in the half court.
Back to a 10-point game. Andra Espinoza Hunter does not have the answer.
Durkin gets the rebound. She's back in.
So too is McNeil, both on the floor for Albertus Magnus with 4 fouls. And Conti can't hit off glass. McNeil is there. One opportunity, no. Durkin travels.
Just second and third opportunities for Albertus Magnus. Ossining gets away with it there. Just so unlike Ossining to allow that.
And with La Rochelle out, Tanasia Mills, the freshman, who takes a guarding stance against Espinoza Hunter, becomes even that more important. Espinoza Hunter with ease.
Clear lane to the basket as she got around a screen at the top.
It's an 8-point game.
That's where Danielle La Rochelle would be there to help on defense. And Marie Durkin's got to be careful inside with 4 fouls. So this Albertus Magnus team is really on their heels as the clock is now under 4 minutes.
Mills trapped. Helped by Conti. Mills steps in. Short on a 2. McNeil after the loose ball, but it's Harris that has it for Ossining. Catch and shoot, corner. Off target for Torresella. Harris, another offensive rebound. Ossining wants time.
Wise timeout there. Really nothing going. You had just bad spacing on the court there, and Andra Espinoza Hunter in the corner. There's nowhere really to go, so they call a timeout, trailing 72-64. Albertus Magnus loses their point guard, and it looks like they had ice on her ankle, and I can't tell if they're trying to tape it back up, that she may be coming back in. As our producer Tom Schnaars is going to zoom in there, and it looks like tape is going on. There's ice kind of hanging off there. She has it elevated. Will she try and give this a go? 3:20 left. Timeout might have favored Albertus Magnus as the trainer tapes up La Rochelle.
She was in agony before. Good to see that she could at least enjoy a laugh as she gets tended to. 72-64, 3:20 left. Both teams with timeouts remaining, and this is really about managing the final couple of minutes here and managing an 8-point lead. knowing that Ossining can score in bunches and score quickly. Regardless of the results, because we're at a point where it's a point has been made. How does this change the landscape of AA?
Well, Albertus Magnus, if they hang on here, is the favorite, because when they were at full strength, which you hope they're going to be if they get to the championship, they're the better team, and they proved it today. But they're not at full strength, so we'll see what else they can do here. As Harris spin move, no good, and Durkee gets the rebound. She's going to push.
Quickly into the front court. Conti driving, McNeil. Durkin stepped on the baseline.
Very rare, that ball hit the net on the pass. The baseline pass hit the net and just seemed to maybe deflect it.
Just 8. Espinoza Hunter will take it across the timeline. She's been effective using the high screen by Harris as Durkin comes over. Catch and Strapoli splash. 72-67 Lady Falcons. 2:35 to go, and a turnover gives Pride the basketball. The UConn-bound senior, Espinoza Hunter.
She made a great pass in the last possession. And now every call is going Ossining's way.
And the call is against Durkin, her 5th. So La Rochelle out with injury. Durkin disqualified with 2:25 to go.
And now they lose Durkin. La Rochelle is clearly not coming back with the ankle with ice on it. I shouldn't say clearly, you never know. But 5-point game, 2:25 left. And, you know, even if Ossining comes back here, as I think they should, you know, a 5-point deficit with 2:25 to go, and you're taking the 2 best players of Albertus Magnus off the floor, Ossining should win this game. They should find a way here in this final couple possessions. But at the same time, Albertus Magnus is going to walk out of here thinking, we can 100% beat them. And they had him beat by 14 points in the 4th quarter. Before an ankle injury, foul trouble.
These teams are combined 19-0 against Section 1 competition. Espinoza Hunter makes the first, second one coming in what is now just a 4-point game.
One possession now. We're going to get a foul away from the ball against Strapoli. She seemed to bear hug Tanasia Mills off the inbound, so it's going to be double bonus, or bonus in girls basketball now, so she'll be shooting 2 free throws.
3 minutes ago at 5:36, Albertus Magnus was up 11. That's when La Rochelle went down. Ossining has been +8. There's the game in the 4th.
You know, we're kind of relegating the idea that Albertus Magnus can't win with this without La Rochelle handling the ball, but Tanasia Mills, maybe we'll see the freshman come through here. She hit 1 free throw very calmly, and she hits another.
Espinoza Hunter around the entire D for the lay-in.
And now she's down hurt.
.212 to go. Landing hard on her right elbow as she holds it.
Asking if she's okay. She just made...
Play was stopped on her behalf, so you would think she has to sub unless there's a timeout.
Yeah, I was thinking they're going to call timeout, so not going to take 1 possession defensively without her on the floor, so she'll be able to stay in the game.
Full timeout called by Dan Rickey. 93 straight games against Section 1 competition and 6 straight Class AA championships. And in previous years, there were probably maybe a team or two that could potentially give Ossining a game in the playoffs, or more specifically the County Center. But now, between Ursuline, between Lords, even though Ossining beat both those teams, and now Albertus Magnus, it could be a much different AA dynamic in the County Center. Typically, you looked at the other semifinal, and it could be close, and now
it used to be all about avoiding Ossining, which I still think you want to do. And,
no question.
Nobody wants to play Ossining, especially not before the County Center. Once you get to County Center, you got to beat them at some point, whether it's semifinal or final. But now I just feel like, you know, these teams are all they're all kind of in the mix. You had Fox Lane, by the way, today knock off a Ketchum team that had won 14 games in a row, 15 overall, and beat them by 10. So Fox Lane kind of jumps a little bit ahead of Ketchum in the pecking order. But I still think it's Ursuline, Ossining, and Albertus Magnus is the top three.
I made this list a couple hours ago, and I'm already behind. Mills got fouled.
And got fouled after what was going to clearly be an easy layup, a steal and a layup. So with a 3-point lead, the freshman going to go back to the line. She just knocked down 2 free throws and going to have to try and knock down 2 more. And both fouls have come very far away from the basket.
So Albertus Magnus's 8-person rotation has dwindled to 6 as Mills goes back to the free throw line, where she was perfect prior to that rim out. One of 2 for Mills.
The freshman makes it a 2-possession game.
2:05 to go. Espinoza Hunter goes against Mills. A head fake to Harris. And then she traveled.
Now she got the ball lost almost behind her back, and she was able to kind of swing it back around in front of her. Did she take an extra step? I don't know if she dragged her foot. But the referee underneath the basket calls the foul. Or calls the travel, so under 2 minutes, 1:59, 75-71, Albertus Magnus leads, and they're going to face the full court pressure of Ossining.
Ossining can't believe it, but Dan Rickey would have been blocked from where that ball got held up on the hip.
He wanted to travel on that one.
1:48 to go. The freshman Mills on the controls. Conti has been fearless. And a timeout taken by Albertus Magnus.
1:38 left. 75-71. Albertus Magnus desperately trying to hold on here. Durkin fouls out. La Rochelle on the bench with an ankle injury.
7 on the timer. Lorenz in the corner. Last touch by Ossining.
5 on the shot clock. Albertus Magnus recognizes it.
And a tough place to start the possession. Thrown into the post. Lorenz. No, McNeil with 1 on the timer has the offensive rebound and put back. 6-point lead for the Lady Falcons. Espinoza Hunter, no. Strapoli, offensive rebound, and she's there on the spot. Just a 4-point game. Into Major, back to McNeil, who can handle. Shot clock never started. So play was stopped once it was recognized. And the referees will give Albertus Magnus front court positioning. Tanasia Mills. Under a minute to go. Entry, Lorenz spinning on her defender, no good. Out of bounds to the Falcons. And
the ball did not touch the rim, so the shot clock will stay at 10. 52.6 seconds.
Into Lorenz. Lorenz fouled. No shot, but 2 free throws.
A very quick call on that one, so 50.6 seconds, 4-point game.
So Tanasia Mills is the freshman point guard with the senior Tess Lorenz hitting the free throw. Pat Buckley with high hopes for his freshman guard and thrown into the fire with La Rochelle injured and out since the 5:36 mark. Lorenz makes both. Back to a 6-point game. Espinoza Hunter draws the blocking foul against Mills. Ossining had a 1-point lead at the end of the first quarter. They trailed at halftime.
Yep.
They trailed at the end of the third quarter. They were down 11 with 5.5 minutes to go. This has been Albertus Magnus the entire way.
And they've been piecing it together here in this fourth quarter. Shorthanded. It went from being a dominant performance to being what was nearly a disappointing finish here with losing the 2 top players. Now this could be an even more rewarding win to go on the road against a 4-time defending state champs and beat them and do it with your 2 best players out for the final 4 minutes.
To the left is Durkin. She fouled out with 2:25 to go, and she's doing her best Jerry Tarkanian impression. It's not a towel, but chewing on her shirt. And Danielle La Rochelle to her right, injured with an ankle injury to her left side. They're getting a lot of FaceTime, but not in the way that they would have hoped.
Well, they were getting some good FaceTime early on, especially Danielle La Rochelle. 5 assists in the first 9 minutes of the game, and she was so good. So fun to watch, watching her and Jada Strapoli go back and forth against each other.
Pat Buckley was not happy moving up to Class AA.
Yeah.
And if you look at the facts,
People's hearts were breaking, by the way, that he wasn't happy.
no question. 17 straight years in the semifinals as a member of Class B and Class A. That is said without judgment. That's a fact.
Uh-huh.
Seeing how well they're playing tonight, and this is not the best Pride team of the last 6 years, but not that they were looking for justification or not that you're looking, but this is why they're here.
Yeah, this is why Section 1 felt they were going to move them up because, you know, and I actually think this is a weak Class A field. So I think Albertus Magnus wins the Class A championship by 30 points.
Sure.
Private school, these are the rules. They reserve the right to move around, move teams up and down, and they belong in AA. They proved it here today. 13-second difference on the shot clock and game clock.
No fouls to give. Harris commits one. Just pushes Mills, who's been extremely clutch, especially at the free throw line.
So it's already a 2-possession game with 32 seconds, but these would be big.
Pressure-packed moment for the freshman. She has been unfazed.
Very impressive. I've seen her a few times this season, and this is just her demeanor. She'd start on any other team in the section.
1 of 2, but look good on both. Espinoza Hunter. Driving, contested by McNeil. Rebound Lorenz, and a trip to the line.
And Espinoza Hunter just didn't go in strong enough. You can't go underhand and layup in that situation. No style points. Got to go to the basket strong, and she just kind of let up there.
Kayla Harris has fouled out. 5-point lead for Ossining. Still just a 2-possession game.
This got down to was it as close as 3? Was that the closest it was, or 2? I think it was a
Definitely
3-point
one
game.
possession game.
And Tanasia Mills, Pes Lorenz, Lizzie Benedetto, Maeve McNeil. Just, again, we talked about the team basketball.
Empty trip for Lorenz. 20 seconds to go, 5-point game. Espinoza Hunter to Quain. She shoots a deep 3. Off the iron, no. Ishmael, offensive rebound. Reload, Quain. Back of the iron, no. 8 seconds to go. Espinoza Hunter with 6. Fires from deep, no good. Rebounded by Lorenz. And the Lady Falcons have come to Ossining, and they have secured a momentous win. (80-75). A huge victory for Albertus Magnus, the 15th ranked team in the Tri-State, taking down the 11th ranked team. And Albertus Magnus snaps the 93 game Section 1 winning streak, the first loss for the Pride in Section in nearly 6 years. February 4th, 2011 against Briarcliff.
We said Albertus Magnus's greatest strength and their advantage was going to be their depth. They had a 14-point lead. They lost their point guard. Their top inside player fouls out, and their depth proved to be the difference down the stretch.
80-75. The landscape in AA has changed. Maybe we'll see this again?
Let's see it again. I want to see it around 2 o'clock on the first Sunday in March at the County Center.
Sign us up. Post-game reaction from Ossining next.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
80-75 the final. A huge road victory for Albertus Magnus taking down Ossining. Let's send it to Kevin Devaney Jr.
Thanks, Dave. Here with Maeve McNeil. I mean, Maeve, you're one of the only few starters still left standing in this game. You didn't foul out, you didn't get hurt. Just what did it take to close this game out?
I think that we all had to come together as a team. You know, we know that they're awesome and they haven't lost in so long. And we really wanted to get out there and prove that we're like one of the top in Section 1 to compete with.
What does it mean, to beat Ossining, as you said? It proves a lot, but to be the team that ends their 93-game winning streak in Section 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like, we know that they're always been huge, and they've always been on our map, so it's unbelievable. I lost for words.
What did your coach say at halftime with going in and having a lead like this on the road and the way you guys were handling them?
Well, we knew that they were never going to stop fighting, so we knew that we had to come back no matter what and give it our all and leave everything out there because we know they were going to do the same.
I don't think anybody would have made excuses for you guys if you lost with Danny going down and Mairead fouling out, but how did you guys figure this out in the final 3 minutes?
Well, we just knew we had to play with confidence, play smart, you know. We knew they weren't giving up, so we gotta come up here and give it our all.
And Tanasia coming off the bench and basically handling things in the final few minutes. How good was she?
I mean, Tanasia stepped up big time for us. With Danny out in the last few minutes, Tanasia really stepped up, and I think that's just a start for her.
And again, beating them here is nice, but you're probably got to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we're gonna probably face them coming up, but you know, we're all focused on right now, and it's crazy.
Well, enjoy this win, and we'll hopefully see both of these teams back at the County Center next month. Dave, back to you.
So Maeve McNeil and the rest of the Lady Falcons pull off a 5-point victory, ending the 93-game Section 1 winning streak that Ossining had built for nearly 6 seasons. For Thomas Schnars, our producer, my broadcast partner Kevin Devaney Jr., I'm David Resnick. Thanks so much for joining us on News 12 Varsity